are a map-making team that also provides for the GSL.
All right, that being said, let's go to introduce our players. In the top left-hand position of Whirlwind, we have the Terran, purple Terran. It is Alive from Team Fnatic.
And in the bottom left, we have from Team MVP, it is Dongraegu, one of the 2012 Code S champions, often hailed as one of the best Zergs, if not the best Zerg, currently playing in StarCraft 2. And one of the fastest players.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he's a lightning bolt. I've seen him play at 500 APM before. I mean, right now he's been playing very well. A lot of people say he's falling off, he's slumping. But come on, man, he's obviously shown that he's still really good. And he got into the round of 4 in GSL, and he's slumping. Like, honestly, man, people need to relax. I know there's high expectations, but losing to MC is nothing to be ashamed of.
That's what it is. Everybody has very high expectations of him, of Nesty, of MMA, MKP, all these players that have been so dominant in the past. And as soon as they lose once, they're like, oh, well, this guy is slumping like crazy. No, it could be just a day, whatever it might be. But already we can see Alive going for Command Center first. This is my all-time favorite build in TVZ. A lot of times you can get really good aggression. Obviously, prioritizing your economy so early, you just get more units out faster. But wow, this is different. Look at this. Refinery before going to barracks.
So he wants to go for very quick factory then, Andre. This is, yeah, usually we see people put down a couple, the barracks to get a couple Marines out just for that early safety. But I guess Whirlwind is such a huge map that maybe Alive feels comfortable otherwise. But
yeah, he can even do like a very quick Banshee directly after this. Keep in mind, he did go 15 Refinery, 15 barracks, and then got additional SCV. So he really cut to get all this stuff out. I'm really interested to see what type of build we have coming out from Alive.
Now, Alive, we do know his build, but Dongraegu, what has he planned? We were receiving word that Dongraegu's been playing lots of cool strategies for NASL as well, and really treating it as if it's a GSL game. People have been, we've been talking to the MVP manager and saying, like, yeah, like, DRG really wants to do well in NASL this season. And if that's any indication, yesterday we saw him match up against Bomber on this map where he was, again, going for that huge Mutiling Bane style. And it did very well against the Marine tank that a lot of Koreans like to do, especially Alive. So I would say that even though, Alive is really good TVZ, I'm going to pick Dongraegu for this series, Andre, especially on a map like Whirlwind to start off.
Yeah, I think Dongraegu is definitely classified as the better player here, and I am actually going to vote for him, even though Alive took me out. How cool would it be? It's like, oh yeah, Alive's the best Terran versus Zerg in the world, and like, I almost beat him.
Who would you like to thank Alive for helping you practice against Dongraegu? Who's like, well, I'd like to thank Gretorp from NASL to help me practice.
The NASL caster. It's like, what? Did he just say that?
For those of you who don't know, like, Alive didn't even know Gretorp was a caster. He just thought he was another guy to play in the King of the Hill, to challenge him for the gauntlet. He's like, oh, this guy's actually really good. Would you like to practice with me one day?
Yeah. Little did he know.
Little did he know. 4 queens on the way. I wouldn't be surprised to see DRG squeeze out 6 queens or even a 7th one just to spread creep and also help him for a macro hatchery. DRG's really been favoring that kind of style, even dating back to early MLGs. Andre, what do you think about just this gasless style that we see at Azure?
Yeah, I think it is the go-to these days. I would prefer just one gas to get out early metabolic boost, but that is a stylistic type of thing. We're going to see DRG take a very fast third base off of this. Now, obviously, you get a booming economy, but what do you do with this directly after this? And on a map like Whirlwind, where Hellions are so powerful, going into the natural, going into third base, and look at how many access points there are. 1, 2, 3. That makes it very difficult to actually cover chokes. So what you end up having to do is invest a lot more in spine crawlers. Maybe that is the reasoning, saying, okay, well, Zerglings will always be caught out of position. Let me go ahead and invest in spine crawlers. How do I do that? Well, I need to prioritize my minerals first. Let's get a lot of minerals before getting gas.
This is actually really cool as well because just like you're saying, prioritizing minerals, but Dongraegu scaled back his greediness just a little bit. He got 2 gases very early. You normally quad gas with a 6-queen build because you're really safe, right? And you can pretty much get your drone count really easy. Behind 6 queens, you can fend off Hellions. But in this case, he realized the push distances are a little bit closer than you're normally comfortable with compared to Cross. I mean, look at how short the distance is past that 4th base.
Alive being very, very cheeky over here. Oh, will he get the block off? No, he can't get his queen into position. 4 Hellions going to run in here. How much damage will this do, Frodan? It can do a lot. Obviously, they one-shot drones, and there you have it. 2 more get singed off. But DRG doing some great target fire, eliminating the 3 Hellion count. That's what you need to one-shot them, and now going to go ahead and take out the rest of the Hellions. Very nicely done.
9 Hellions for 9 drones for 6 Hellions, which I guess in this case, do you really think it's worth it that
Definitely
much?
not. Definitely not. Because you're going to see this creep spread actually extend a lot further than it should be. Those Hellions should have been keeping track of all of these creep tumors, but now, of course, he cannot do that. From here, I think Dongraegu takes a slight advantage, but it really is pretty even with this early game stage. I think we're going to see just Medivacs on the field very, very soon. As soon as that happens, he's going to try to clear up as many creep tumors as possible.
Live is doing the right thing. A lot of people, the way they used to react to 6 queen openings was to just play super greedy, faster command center, double engineering bay, and just play as passive as Zerg is and really get a strong macro up to the point where you can kind of trade Marines nonstop and trade Marines for gas, Same way that Zerg try to trade Zerglings for tanks or gas units. And I think at this point, Alive's just content to sit back and eventually take a quick third. But what I'm also curious to see is where Dongraegu chooses to harass a lot, because he's always been really known to multitask with his mutas and try to see if he can pick them apart. But Alive's one of those Terrans that's a lot better at covering his defenses than most Terrans.
Yeah, and Alive does really, really like those 2-2 timings, especially in this matchup. And 2-2 timings are actually what really, really hurt any muta plays. I mean, those trades are pretty costly. So it's going to come down to how Dongraegu actually prepares for this. I love how everything actually coordinates. The 6 queens really empowering the Zergling Baneling muta play that we are going to see, or most likely going to see. And hold that thought, a huge run by coming, not that big, but Zergling's able to kill a couple of Marines here. And now it's going to be huge, taking out a single mule and stopping the other mule from actually mining. This is valuable mining time that Alive cannot really give up.
Yes, and pretty much scouts everything he suspected anyways. The Zerglings walk up the ramp, see the 3rd command center.
Oh no, fresh mules gonna be taken out.
Another mule, that's 3 mules worth of kills there. And that's easily a huge pack of Marines that you don't have to deal with because of it. That was a very good job there by Dongraegu. Yep. Man, look at how many creep tumors there are. 100.
And look at this, Dongraegu is actually not going to go into Spire Tech, just going Infestors. I don't mind this at all either. I think Infestors personally are the better choice. Mutas, I don't know, I'm just not completely sold on Mutas just yet. Or at all, rather. I was trying to put it nicely.
He's going Infestors, so that's actually a really cool change up here, especially on Whirlwind though. I think in these positions, mutas wouldn't make that big of a difference, considering, again, the push distance. You don't have that much time to buy. But regardless, we see Alive pushing in here with a small little battalion of units. Zergling trying to run by. Is he going to get the repair on time? He doesn't. The Zergling is able to chew away and now starting to work on more units, including the mule. And this time Alive says, no, I'm not going to send my mule to battle.
You know, it's so powerful what Dongraegu is doing right now, just delaying his opponent with just straight-up Zerglings. And really, the 3rd was supposed to be situated by now, but because of those Zerglings just constantly killing Marines, it reduces the amount of units on the field, which obviously really stops Alive from pushing out and covering 2 different points. Of course, his natural and his 3rd base position over here. So it's really, really tough for Alive to actually do anything. And he will have kind of a stagnated economy, therefore a stagnated 2-2 push.
Yeah, and as a result, Alive just won't have that much. Usually when you do that 2-2 push, you have a lot of Marines endlessly streaming. And Alive is just slightly stalled because of it. And as a result, you can see that he's forced to play more passive. DRG is the one who controls the map. Alive really can't drop. He can't really do much here because, I mean, DRG is going to Hive. He's getting Infested out. He's getting his Ultralisk Cavern. He's expanding to a 4th base. Everything is going so well for MVP Zerg.
Oh my goodness, and the Zergling's getting through. Alive, what are you doing? Lowered his bunker, now losing not only Marines, but siege tanks as well. This is so terrible for Alive. He is actually now losing economy as well. Look at this. There's only 7 patches on this. That means... oh my gosh, his economy over here at the natural is going to reduce by 1/8, which actually means a lot in StarCraft.
And Alive has, again, no real ability to counterattack of some sort because DRG has been able to trade so effectively, trade minerals just for the tanks. You know, they'll be able to limit Alive's ability to push out. Oh, and those Marines, they're ill-fated. Oh, they're turning back. That's okay.
Unfortunate
One
for
guy
this
clearly
too,
didn't get the memo, though. It's like, all right, guys, let's go get him. He's like, guys? There's no other people. Everyone's running away.
And we do have a little bit of an engagement. Alive should be able to cover his third base, but, you know, with those infestors looming around the corner, I don't know if that's really that possible for much longer. A single medevac is traveling on the bottom middle of this map, and it might actually confront this hatchery over here in a little bit. Yes, it probably will. Dongraegu already suspects it. Of course, he has a Zergling directly over there watching for any dropships like this. And we might have 2 attacks going on at the same time. Let's find out right now.
Yeah, I mean, Alive is really good at multitasking as well. Incredibly fast player, but DRG is already on it, leaving Zerglings to try to tend to that medevac while still being able to threaten a counterattack at that third. Alive just going to stem a couple Marines, and he does scan, and he sees Burrowed Infestors, but still, I mean, Alive says, well, I can't ever move down that ramp. If DRG's paying attention, I am going to get caught.
It's really unfortunate. You know, I have to be a little bit critical on Alive. Getting 2 factories before getting the third base is actually very unorthodox. You normally don't do that because it really messes up your mobility. And when your mobility gets messed up, that means your push is a lot slower. When your push is a lot slower, that means I don't have to prepare nearly as early as normal. And that's why we see Dongraegu just pulling way ahead in economy, of course, situating his 4th base, as Alive is only situating his 3rd base just now, with his main and natural drying up quite drastically. That means Alive doesn't have that much sustainability going into that late game stage where he can't move around as fast just because his economy isn't as strong.
The silver lining is that Alive technically doesn't really have to attack at this point because he realizes that Zerg's ahead of everything. He's ahead in economy. He's just going to keep harassing, dropping here and there, trying to pick up while pushing also onto some of the Queen's spreading creep. Alive doing a pretty good job just trying to draw attention away. DRG still has a lot of units in production, 17 more Banelings. I don't know if Alive will be able to hold this incredible attack. We saw Bomber hold something similar as long as he gets good spread and be able to set up a good concave, but there are so many units here from DRG. Oh. The Ultras are pushing forward. The Banelings are going to try to land directly onto the Marines. No fungals on the Marines is yet. Alive dodging them for now. Great job thus far. Infested Terrans are trying to tank the damage, but there is so much Zerg units, and Alive is losing a lot. The Ultras are completely cleaving everything in its path, and Alive can't really hold this third for much longer.
These single Baneling hits were actually what really did it for Dongraegu. I mean, killing huge packs of Marines, and from here, yes, there's not much substance for either of these players, but the fact of the matter is, Alive had a defensive position. Dongraegu obviously wasn't attacking into the best position, and he's still able to do so much damage here. Alive just so far behind. A single Ultra clearing up everything in terms of reinforcements. How is this possible?
It's got 20 kills, Andre, and it's just killing everything in its path. This Ultra is super hungry, but not as hungry as these Zerglings for this third base. Alive is forced to immediately evacuate. And I mean, these Marines are still at 2-2. They kill Ultras so slowly with 5 carapace. And at this point, Alive is now relegated to just half a mining base. And DRG is moving up to base number 5. And this is just the scary DRG that everyone remembers. Is this guy going to get stopped anytime soon, man?
You know, Dongraegu is in really unlosable position. I mean, he has to blunder so hard right now. Alive has to have a nuke, and then Dongraegu actually sits under the nuke with 400 out of 200 army. That's how ahead Dongraegu is right now. It's so unfortunate. Just the beginning stages really, really facilitated just Dongraegu taking a massive advantage. I'm not sure why he went 2 factories and just sat back the whole time. I think maybe he was anticipating some sort of all-in. Normally you get siege tanks when you anticipate that, but I'm not sure, you know, why we have this position. But look at the creep spread. I mean, the center of the map is just covered with creep tumors. Alive going to push out, just trying to take his 3rd base. And all Dongraegu has to do is play a war of attrition where he just denies 3rd bases continuously.
My God, and DRG is doing a very good job leaving a couple Banelings, leaving an Infestor here and there to cover his bases, making sure to shut down any possibility of losing his expansions. DRG realizes that it does sacrifice his army strength a little bit, but when you got 5-3 Ultras, anything is possible. Alive, his medevacs, one of them gets caught, and this is kind of the stuff that Alive needs to do, but he also needs to set up a 3rd economy. And is he going to be able to do it at all? I mean, he's trying to transfer some workers, but even DRG has a block with the bro.
Nice little spread by Alive over here. He will be able to just back these drones over at the 5th base. In the meantime, you can see this one medevac just trekking across everywhere it could possibly go, but every time it actually tries to drop its cargo, there's Zerglings and Banelings just meeting up with them. Very unfortunate.
Oh my god, 39 Baneling, 42 Banelings, Andre. On top of the 4 that already exist, DRG just wants to go for one finishing blow, and I can't think of any more way to do it that's better than 46 Banelings knocking on your front door. Yeah, here we go, Andre. The huge attack also into the natural front. Alive isn't even sieged up. How's he going to handle all the Banelings? He targets down some of them, but the Ultralisks are the ones that he has to really be afraid of because there's so much ability to tank. Fungals on the bio as well. Alive's army completely squashed by the Zerg might, and there's just nothing Alive can do. There are Banelings to spare. Here's a Baneling. There's a Baneling. Everywhere's a Baneling. And there's a GG.
Dongraegu taking a very decisive win in that first game. I want to talk so much about Alive's build and how it really stagnates his growth, but when it all boils down, it's Dongraegu harassing his opponent so much with those early Zerglings, the pure efficiency that he's able to do, commit all of his gas to just infestors. Normally, you want them to actually make Banelings, you want them to make maybe Roaches, things that aren't just Zerglings, but, you know, Alive really put no pressure on in the beginning stages. Yes, he had that Hellion run by, but the fact of the matter is he didn't push with any Marine Hellion pushes, so it doesn't force Dongraegu off of only Zerglings. It allows Dongraegu to play so much more efficient than he should be playing.
We have a replay of one of the biggest fight sequences in this game. It was the first huge engagement. Now, yes, Dongraegu whiffed onto the Marines, but look at that tank position. They're in front, and the Marines were not able to really bait enough time. Yes, you want to avoid the fungals, but really this was a fantastic spot for DRG. Most Zergs come up through the bottom of what you're seeing right now. They try to crash the third directly, but DRG trying to go for an area where his Ultras get great space. Love that engagement from DRG.
Yeah. It really spoke, of course, the upgrades. Having 5-3 against 2-2, your Marines deal 2 damage. 2 damage against those Ultralisks. That means, what, you need 250 hits at least because of regeneration. That is a lot of hits for Marines to actually hit. When Banelings are actually chasing you, you do not want to be just sitting there firing at an Ultralisk.
Dongraegu looks very scary in his first game of NASL. Let's go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll find out what happens in this series. Let's thank Kingston HyperX, the people who provide NASL, SSD, and memory. We'll be back in 1 minute, guys, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for more action.